Respect isn't something you demand, it's something you earn. Let me be brutally honest with you. Most people will never respect you, no matter how hard you try. You can work your tail off, bend over backward for others, and still feel invisible, still get overlooked, still feel unimportant. I know because I lived that life. I used to think that being agreeable, always saying yes, always being available, that would earn me respect. But it didn't. It only made me smaller in the eyes of others. People didn't admire me, they pitied me. The truth is, you won't be respected until you start cutting out the behaviors that quietly destroy your value. And that starts with you. The moment I stopped chasing approval and started demanding more from myself, everything changed. Respect doesn't come from others first, it starts within. If you don't raise your standards for yourself, no one else will. Let's dive in. Habit 1. Making excuses. Excuses are soft lies we tell ourselves to avoid the hard truth. They make failure feel justified. They make stagnation feel safe. But deep down, you know the cost. I used to be the king of excuses. Late to meetings. Traffic was insane. Missed a deadline. Nobody gave me what I needed. Didn't follow through. I had a lot going on. And for a while, I believed myself. But the people around me, they didn't buy it. They stopped trusting me, stopped relying on me, and eventually, they stopped respecting me. Here's the thing no one tells you. People don't care about your reasons. They care about your results. Excuses don't protect your reputation. They destroy it. Because every excuse tells the world one thing. I'm not in control of my life, and I don't take responsibility for my actions. It wasn't until someone looked me dead in the eye and said, "Why didn't you plan better?" That moment hit me like a punch to the gut. And for the first time, I didn't argue. I didn't justify. I just sat there and realized they were right. I had become someone who ran from accountability, and nobody respects that person. But here's the twist. When I finally owned up to my failures, when I stopped sugarcoating them with excuses, people started to see me differently. Not as perfect, but as real, as responsible. And that shift in energy, it changed everything. Trust returned, responsibility followed. And most importantly, I started respecting myself again. Next time you feel the urge to explain why something didn't happen, stop. Ask yourself, am I owning this or escaping it? Excuses are a comfort zone, but respect lives outside of that. Habit 2. Laziness. Let's get this straight. No one respects laziness. And honestly, they shouldn't. Because laziness isn't just about doing nothing. It's about betraying your potential. It's about choosing comfort over growth, mediocrity over greatness, and then wondering why no one takes you seriously. I used to get away with doing the bare minimum. I was smart, quick on my feet, I knew how to wing it. So I thought I didn't have to try hard. And people noticed, but not in the way I wanted. They didn't say, "Wow, he's efficient." They said, "He's not reliable." I wasn't respected, I was just tolerated. And that's a lonely place to be. Here's the part that stings. Laziness is loud. Even if you think you're hiding it, trust me, people see it. They see when you cut corners. They feel it when you don't show up fully. And every time they notice, your value drops. Not because you're not capable, but because you stopped caring. There was a time when I let my comfort zone become my identity. I told myself, I'll start tomorrow, I'll go harder next week. But weeks turned to months and nothing changed. Meanwhile, others were grinding, growing, becoming people you couldn't ignore. And me? I was stuck. It wasn't until I asked myself, if I died tomorrow, would I be proud of the effort I gave today? And the answer was no. That hit hard, so I made a promise, no more coasting, no more hiding behind potential. Because potential without action is nothing but a fantasy. And laziness? It's the silent killer of dreams. People don't respect effort once in a while. They respect consistency, discipline, hunger. So if you want to be respected, don't talk about what you could do. Show up, put in the work, not when it's convenient, not when you feel motivated. Every single day. And here's the secret. You don't have to be the best. You just have to be relentless. Because relentless people, they're the ones the world respects. Habit 3. Neglecting your appearance. Let's be real. People see you before they hear you. And whether you like it or not, they're making judgments. Not about how attractive you are, but about how much you respect yourself. Because your appearance, it speaks. Loudly, I used to roll out of bed, throw on whatever was clean, and convince myself it didn't matter. I'm being real, I told myself. People should accept me for who I am. But that wasn't authenticity, it was carelessness. And the message I was sending was clear. I don't take myself seriously, so why should you? At work, I was overlooked. In social settings, I was dismissed. Not because I wasn't smart, not because I wasn't capable, but because I didn't look like someone who gave a damn, and people respond to that energy. Then one day I showed up, hair trimmed, clothes ironed, posture straight. Nothing flashy, just effort. And something crazy happened. People looked at me differently. They listened closer. They engaged deeper. Why? Because I looked like I respected myself. Here's the truth that stings. When you look like you don't care, people assume you don't. About yourself, about your work, about life, and if you're sending that message, you're closing doors before you even speak. Now, I'm not saying you need designer clothes or a Hollywood smile. This isn't about vanity, it's about intentionality. Clean clothes, groomed appearance, showing up like someone who's ready for something bigger. It's not superficial, it's strategic. Because in a world that moves fast, your appearance is your first introduction, and you only get one chance at that. So next time you leave the house, ask yourself, if someone met me for the first time today, would they see a person who respects themselves or someone who's given up? Respect starts with how you carry yourself. Before you open your mouth, before you prove your worth, your presence is already speaking. Make sure it's saying the right thing. Habit 4, ignoring boundaries. Let me tell you something that took me years to understand. Not everyone wants your help. Not everyone wants you involved. And when you don't respect people's boundaries, you lose their respect fast. I used to think that always being there for people made me a good friend. I'd text constantly, call uninvited, jump into their problems with advice they never asked for. In my mind, I was showing up. But in reality, I was suffocating them. And I couldn't see it until someone finally had the courage to say, "I just need space." That sentence hit me like a brick wall. Because I thought I was being helpful. Turns out, I was just being invasive, and I lost a friendship that meant the world to me. Here's what I learned the hard way. Respecting someone means letting them breathe, letting them say no without pressure, letting them process life on their own terms, not yours. Boundaries are not walls to keep you out. They're gates that open with trust. And when you ignore them, you're saying, "I care more about my comfort than your needs." And let me be clear, no one respects that energy. Think about it. You've probably had someone in your life who couldn't take a hint. Always texting, always asking, always pushing. Did you respect them more or less? Exactly. Boundaries aren't rejection, they're respect in action. And when you honor them, you become someone others feel safe around. Someone they trust, someone they want to be close to, not someone they're trying to escape. This goes beyond friendships. At work, ignoring someone's time boundaries, constant messages, micromanaging, over-explaining, makes you look unprofessional, not passionate. When you respect someone's time, energy, and emotional space, you're saying, "I see you, I value you, I trust your autonomy." That kind of presence is rare, and rare presence commands deep respect. So next time you want to give advice, pause. Next time you feel the urge to fix someone's problem, breathe. Ask yourself, am I respecting their space or trying to control their situation? Because here's the truth, people don't remember every word you say, but they always remember how safe, or smothered, they felt around you. Respect grows in space. Give it, and you'll get it back tenfold. Habit 5, taking credit for others' work. This one's ugly, and it destroys respect faster than almost anything else. Taking credit for someone else's effort might get you a few claps in the moment, but the silence that follows? That's the sound of trust dying. I'll be honest, early in my career I did it. Not blatantly, just subtly bending the truth, positioning things so I looked like the key player, downplaying someone else's role so I could shine. And for a while, it worked. I got the pat on the back, the praise, the attention, but deep down, I knew I didn't earn it. And eventually, so did everyone else. When the truth came out, the shift was immediate. The person I stole from? Hurt. Rightfully so. My team? Distant. My manager? Hesitant. Because once people see you as someone who takes more than they give, they stop trusting you. They stop inviting you in. Taking credit doesn't just rob others. It robs you of your character, your growth, your integrity. Because deep down, you're telling yourself, I'm not enough on my own. That's not ambition, that's fear. And fear never earns respect. Here's the truth. When you lift others up, it doesn't dim your light. It multiplies it. You don't look weak when you say, she did the heavy lifting. You look strong, confident, secure. That's the kind of leadership people follow. That's the kind of person people remember. I've seen people lose promotions, friendships, entire reputations, because they made a habit of stepping on others to get ahead. And once that reputation sticks, it's almost impossible to shake. So if you've ever caught yourself doing it, even just a little, there's only one way forward: own it. Apologize and change. Start saying their name, start sharing the credit, start noticing the people who help you win, and celebrate them. Because in the long run, people don't respect spotlight hogs. They respect team players. They respect those who can lead without stealing. They respect those who rise and bring others with them. That's real power, and that's what earns real respect. Habit 6. Being emotionally reactive. Let's get one thing straight. Blowing up isn't strength. Crying every time you're criticized isn't passion. And snapping at people over small things, that's not just who you are. That's emotional reactivity, and it's silently destroying your respect. One outburst at a time. I used to be that person. Someone says something I don't like. Boom, I'm defensive. Something doesn't go my way. I shut down or lash out. Criticism, I took it personal every single time. I thought I was real. I thought I was standing up for myself, but truth is, I was unpredictable. And people don't respect unpredictability. They avoid it. Think about the people you admire most. Are they explosive? Do they lose their cool when challenged? Or are they calm, collected, grounded, even in chaos? Exactly. People respect composure, not because it's emotionless, but because it shows strength. It shows that you can feel without being ruled by those feelings. I remember a turning point in my life. An argument with someone I deeply cared about. Everything in me wanted to shout, to interrupt, to win the moment. But something inside whispered, if you blow up now, you lose more than the argument. So I took a breath, I listened, and I responded, without venom, without ego. That moment didn't just save a relationship. It made the other person look at me differently, with trust, with respect. Here's the deeper truth. When you react emotionally to everything, what you're really showing is that your emotions have more power over you than your principles. You're not leading yourself. You're being led by every trigger. And that makes people feel unsafe around you. No one wants to walk on eggshells. No one wants to guess if today you'll be kind or explosive. Over time, people stop coming to you. They stop trusting you with sensitive things. They stop seeing you as someone stable. And without stability, respect withers. But here's the good news. Emotional control is a skill. You can learn it, train it, practice it. It starts with awareness. Catch the trigger before it becomes an outburst. Pause, breathe. Ask yourself, is this reaction helping me or hurting me? The calmest person in the room usually isn't the one who doesn't feel. It's the one who's mastered how they respond. That's power, that's control, and that's the kind of presence people remember and respect. So next time life tests your patience, let your restraint speak louder than your rage. Final thoughts. Let's be honest. You can't force people to respect you, but you can give them reasons to. And it starts with cutting these habits out of your life. Excuses, laziness, neglect, disrespect, insecurity, reactivity. If you keep letting these patterns run your life, you'll always wonder why people don't take you seriously. But when you start leading yourself with discipline, integrity, and calm, something shifts. People start listening, they start trusting, they start respecting, and more importantly, you start respecting yourself. If this message hit you, if even one habit sounded a little too familiar, don't beat yourself up, just start changing. And if you're serious about becoming the kind of person others admire, hit that subscribe button, because I'm here to help you grow stronger, sharper, and more respected, one habit at a time. Drop a comment below, tell me your story. Let's talk about it. Until next time, stay strong, take up space, and remember, respect starts with you.